Who the fuck is this nigga, bro?
Mr. Stark, we won. Sega has blessed the streets with Sonic X Shadow Generations, and my lord, we are eating right now. Alright, let's do this one more time. I dropped that Sonic Forces review not too long ago, and compared to my Sonic Colors video, it didn't do as well. Hi, hello, editing Daffy here. So in the process of me editing this video, the views on my Sonic Forces video kind of skyrocketed. Thanks. I was not expecting the jump in views, especially so soon. So yeah, back to your scheduled programming. I just had to point that out. So just a little self-plug right here. You can go ahead and watch that video after this video right here. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hey, help a young man reach 200 subscribers. We're only 6 away. Hit that subscribe button. Now, hey, hi, editing Daffy here again. Damn, you guys are fast. We hit 200 subs. Thanks. Road to 250. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. Shadow Generations. What a game. The game isn't officially out yet, at least at the time of recording. It's only out for the people who bought the digital deluxe edition. At least for the next few days, we have early access to the game. And while yes, this game is shorter than the original Generations, it makes up for it by giving us longer levels, a complete campaign for Shadow the Hedgehog, which takes place before the events of Sonic Generations, which I'm really surprised the plot makes sense here. Nothing feels unanswered. Also, before we start this video, I'd just like to let you guys know that there will be some spoilers. Not some spoilers, a lot of spoilers. I'm talking about the game, there are gonna be spoilers. This is a really dark story for our ultimate life form. His initial creator, Black Doom, has returned due to the anomaly being the time meter during the events of Sonic Generations. And can I just say, the amount of hate this man Ian Flynn gets is too much. This man is a genius. If you guys don't know, which quite frankly, how are you a Sonic fan if you don't know who Ian Flynn is? Ian Flynn is a writer for the IDW Sonic comics. And while most people know him as the publisher for those comics, he's been with the Sonic the Hedgehog series ever since Sonic the Hedgehog number 160 in the Archie comic series. He also wrote the English story in Sonic Frontiers, which is okay in my opinion. It's a good reboot for the Sonic series, but what he did here for Shadow, seems like he likes Shadow more than he likes Sonic. Shadow's character and backstory hasn't been touched since 2005's Shadow the Hedgehog, and if you want to count Sonic 06, you go right ahead. But since that game canonically has been wiped from the Sonic timeline, I don't count it. We'll get to you soon, you little bastard. We'll get to you soon. And while most Sonic fans will definitely agree that Shadow 05 wasn't the best game in the world, it definitely introduced one of the most memorable Sonic villain, Black Doom. Well, it depends on who you ask. I like Black Doom, but I can admit Shadow 05 didn't do him justice at all. It did not. So using the time meter as a catalyst to bring that villain back in this game and do it better is probably one of the best ideas Sonic Team has ever had. And let's be real here, as much as nobody was wondering what Black Doom and the Black Arms were doing after the events of Shadow the Hedgehog, it's nice to see him back here. And using the time meter to accelerate his failed plan back in 2005, nowadays, is actually a pretty cool concept. I applaud Mr. Ian Flynn for this writing decision because quite frankly, their execution was pretty good. Black Doom seems like the powerful alien creature that will be able to do something like this. It just kinda sucks that it took us 13 years to get this revelation for Shadow the Hedgehog. Completing the Space Colony Arc stage and watching the first cutscene gets Shadow transported to the all-familiar white space.
Welcome to Blacklist Processing.
Yeah, the white space looks a little different now. It's in 3D, who would have thought? It's almost like Sonic's bad at this or something. Whoever's idea was it to make white space 3D, give that man a raise and do it immediately. This is probably one of the best 3D hub worlds we've had since Sonic Unleashed. And I know this is more akin to the Frontiers open zone more than an actual hub world, but this just feels more like a hub world. Fight me, I can't explain why I like it more, I just do. I haven't even 100%ed it yet and I'm having so much much fun going around looking for the different collectibles and seeing what songs made it into Shadow's portion of the game. Shadow is missing a few moves here. He doesn't have the air dash, the spin dash, nor the iconic triple stomp from Frontiers. What the fuck? I'm sad, I really like that move. And even though the air dash as a move has been MIA since we started using the Hedgehog engine 2, it feels weird that such a standard move still isn't back in the moveset, considering Sonic has it in the Generations portion of the game. But honestly, he controls just as well, hell, even better than Frontiers. Sonic Team has been cooking with the controls of these games, and being able to fully move in 360 degrees so easily feels great, and honestly makes going back to games like Unleashed and Generations hard for some people. Not for me though, I was a child when these games came out and these controls and physics are engraved into my head like I've been branded, so maybe I'm built different, I don't know. This game gives Shadow a whole bunch of different abilities akin to his creator Black Doom to enhance his gameplay a bit. And while the first on the list is technically the Doom Spear, I don't count that because it just gives you the ability to throw multiple Doom Spears at once by holding the Y button. If you're used to the legacy controls like I am, I hope your default controller grip is claw grip because you are going to need it. Next on the list is Doom Blast, and it gives Shadow an up smash. Nah, I'm just kidding. Shadow knocks the enemy into the air and chaos controls around him, launches the enemy a certain distance where he would then teleport to that distance, keeping the speed going. Now the game tells you that you can press the circle button to teleport freely, but the game does it on its own once the enemy goes a certain distance, so you aren't penalized for not pressing the circle button again. Next on the list is Doom Surf. It allows Shadow to surf over water, which kind of bugs me a bit because as Shadow's boost animation will have you, the motherfucker can literally fly. I assume they did it this way to keep the gameplay balanced, considering if he was able to boost over the water, you'd be constantly needing to fend for rings. And well, with how these games work, the minute you hit something, yep, GG's. So while I think Shadow has all the right to boost over water, I understand the decision to make the gameplay this way. I genuinely felt like a kid playing this game again, even replaying the original Generations. Look at my mod manager for the 2011 release. I do this stuff in style, man. And while I can admit Generations rewrite isn't the best, Classic Sonic has ascended to a demigod level threat who can devour entire islands. I mean, that's what the game wants you to think anyway.
Thanks, Sonic. Now then, tell me, where is the rest of my island?
Are you implying that Classic Sonic ate Angel Island? The rewrites for this game aren't perfect, but if you could ignore that, the game is just as fun as it was back in 2011. Next up on Shadow's extensive list of moves is... No, please go away! This one allots Shadow his new Splatoon form, allowing him to move along this sludge. And while you can say the white space is your tutorial, I believe this one should have a dedicated tutorial level. There is a small tutorial video you get after unlocking the move, but in my opinion it's not enough. I recommend trying this around in white space for a couple of minutes before you go into the stage because it's confusing and I'm gonna try to explain it. So my apologies in advance. Now what you're supposed to do is homing attack onto these purple orbs and wait until the end of the swinging animation, and then the game will launch you upwards. But if you time it to where you're directly underneath the orb, you will shoot straight up. Now the game doesn't explain this to you. Maybe it does and I'm just stupid, but as far as I know, the game does not explain this to you. Obviously, I'm much better at controlling it now, and I find the form pretty fun to use, but first timers and people that don't understand what's going on will definitely find this frustrating, and I believe there should be a better way of explaining how to use this form. Shadow gets to overcome the obstacles of his past in full force here. For the first time in franchise history, we see Maria Robotnik and Shadow standing right next to each other in something that isn't a memory. And my god, look at Shadow's face. This does not feel real to him. The emotion in his eyes after seeing his best friend, hell, even his father after so long. And I saw someone make a good point on a thread I was reading about this game. The last time Shadow saw Professor Gerald was when he was being programmed for his world-ending mission in Sonic Adventure 2. He saw Professor Gerald go off the rails over the death of Maria, and it terrifies him. Look at his eyes. Look how fast he cuts contact with Gerald. He's scared of him. If not scared, maybe a little distrustful considering what he's done. He's scared of what he can do, which ultimately makes the ending of this game much more heart-wrenching. He really did lose everything, more times than we could have ever imagined. But I mean, come on, let's be real. Have you been to a Sonic Symphony? Now, I won't talk too much about the bosses because they are peak and you need to experience them for yourself, but the whole cast and crew of bosses are the Bio Lizard, Mephiles the Dark, my goat, Metal Overlord, and Black Doom. Coming with a new form this time, it's just Neo Metal Sonic. Insane boss list, to be honest. I think the selection were from the past and future of characters who have came for Shadow's ultimate life form title, starting with the Bio Lizard and ending with Mephiles, keeping the chronology of when we would have fought these villains. And technically, if that's the case, wouldn't Mephiles be the final boss of Shadow's story? He's literally a time deity who would have seemed to be able to control the Time Eater better than the Eggman or Black Doom. I think the game goes out of its way to explain this, as the boss gate from Mephiles is completely under white space. It's almost like the void of nothing knows how much of a danger Memphis can be and is actively trying to keep him hidden. And man, I really feel bad for him. Just listen to him. He really wants to exist and Sega's just saying no.
There is no future for you.
Am I the only person that genuinely likes Terios' design? Now, a small part of me is extremely disappointed that Infinite didn't get a second chance in this game because, as you know, if anyone deserves a second chance, this mofo right here definitely does. People often forget that Shadow is the catalyst for Infinite's temper tantrum in Sonic Forces, and considering they pulled Sunset Heights from the game, I assume that's the direction they were going, but Mephiles was always who Infinite truly wanted to be, so I prefer the fight with him over the punching bag anyway. Reaching the end of the game, we see Shadow attempt to talk to Gerald and Maria before Doom's eyes showing up and telling him that the promised time is here, and Maria adorably checking in for Shadow. See, in my opinion, Shadow's the only person who can use the "my family is my strength" trope because Shadow's whole identity comes from his family, with Maria being his moral compass.
Professor, what do you think he means he learned from our last encounter?
I surmise you defeated him at some point in the future. He has grown a new body and used the nebulous nature of time in white space to accelerate his plans for revenge.
He's right. No more mistakes. This time, I will crush every last one of them.
Shadow, no!
Maria?
It breaks my heart to see you so full of anger. This isn't who you are. Do you know why I named you Shadow? Because without light, there's only darkness. But a shadow will show you where to find the light. Do you understand? I don't want you to be driven by darkness. I want you to be happy. Stand in the light with peace in your heart.
My heart! Shadow was never evil, just misguided. Even in SA2, after he fulfilled his mission, he didn't go back to Earth and cause more havoc. He sat on the Ark waiting for the end. We, as an audience, actually get to see why Shadow cares so deeply for Maria, where he got his name from. That's storytelling! That was something that never got addressed back in the day. All we knew about Shadow was that he was made for research to cure Maria's disease, the Bio Lizard is what came before him, and Black Doom was the enabler of all his chaos powers. But we never really dug into Maria and Shadow's relationship. It was only stated that she had left him with a promise to protect the world. For someone to keep a promise like that to the end of time, they had to have been really close, and I'm glad this game gives them that time on screen. Last of Shadow's upgrades is his Doom Wing, and as cool as this ability is, it doesn't beat Super Shadow for me. I understand that Super Shadow couldn't have made it into the story due to, you know, this game being attached to Sonic Generations and everything, but this just feels feels like a Super Shadow final form, and I feel like this would have been had this game not been attached to Sonic Generations. And speaking of Generations, I hear you getting ready to say, well hey, if this story takes place alongside Generations, don't they fight in this game? And we get Shadow's point of view.
You have something I need.
It'll be a date to die for.
Nice hustle, but I won this one. So I'm taking the emerald. See ya!
Sadly, it's a cutscene, but we see that Shadow was literally just toying with Sonic and even handing him the fake emerald from Sonic Adventure 2.
I'll have you swap it for the real thing after I'm finished with my mission.
What a guy. After one acquires the Doom Wing, the Doom Satellite, yes, that's what this is called, the Doom Satellite goes Willy Wonka bazonkas and turns white space into Radical Highway. And I hope you aren't tired of seeing Radical Highway because the next stage is Radical Highway. Yeah, Black Doom has some sort of hard-on for Radical Highway, as the first act of every level in the game, except for Chaos Island and Kingdom Valley, have these transitions where you face off against Black Doom and he takes you to an alternate reality where he turns the stage into Radical Highway for a couple of minutes before taking you back to the stage, essentially being your training for this game. And while one can argue this can hurt the overall replayability of these stages, I argue hard against that. These are fun little moments that keep you on your toes. You actually have to be moving. Well, I'm not chasing the main enemy of the game, so you're not going to want to just sit there. You want to keep a move on. I just love that it's Radical Highway of all stages. Like Black Doom doesn't like any of Shadow's other levels, so he just chose the one stage that everyone unanimously likes. Devil Doom is once again the final boss, and you're putting everything you've learned over your adventure to fight this guy. And can I just say, Devil Doom's HD model just looks magnifique. Moi. As I mentioned before, he has two phases of this fight. The first half you're using Surf in Splatoon mode to make your way to his body to attack him. And in the second phase where he transformed into Neo Metal Doom, you take control of Shadow in Doom Wing form again, and this feels like a Titan fight from Sonic Frontiers. Not all the way, but you can definitely feel what I'm talking about. If there's one constant in any Sonic game, is that our hero will always have an antithesis to our protagonist, and Shadow is no different here.
Now, to end this!
Look at him, man. He's so cool. Shadow defeats Black Doom and he loses his Doom powers as expected, and Rouge comes to tell Shadow that Sonic is ready to fight the Time Eater. Shadow goes to consult Gerald and Maria one more time, and for the sake of this game having over 1 million sales at the time of recording, you gotta buy the game to watch the last cutscene, or just go watch a YouTube compilation if you're boring. I can't tell you what to do. This game was hitting all the high ends, for all time always. Everything about this game had me smiling from ear to ear. I was 2 years old when the original Shadow the Hedgehog came out, and now I'm 21. And it feels like I've grown with these characters. Shadow isn't just Edgy the Hedgy anymore. He feels like someone I've spent a long time with. You guys ever have that one friend in your life where they don't really open up about themselves and they're very standoffish, but when you finally get them to open up, it's like they can trust you with anything? That's how I felt playing this game. It really felt like I was going through Shadow's mind and experiencing everything he's gone through. And although I'll never be a 3-foot melanated hedgehog who can teleport at will, I do have a sense of familiarity with Shadow, as I used to be a very standoffish person myself. This game was way more relatable than I thought it was gonna be. Besides the whole Splatoon thing, I 100% recommend this game to anyone, Sonic fan or not, new or old. If you played the original generations into the ground, this game is still definitely worth your money. If you want to justify buying Sonic Generation again, just look at it as you paying for Shadows content, which is worth it on its own. Granted, if it were a little longer, maybe 2 to 3 more stages and 1 more boss fight, and it comes with a free remaster of Generations. I bought this game twice, on PC and PS5, and if I used my Switch as often as I did back in the day, I definitely would have gotten a copy for my Switch as well. Thank you guys so much for helping me reach 200 subscribers. This is genuinely insane to me. The views on my last 2 videos have been absolutely crazy. I've never seen no numbers like this in my life. We on the road to 250, so hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload. This video was definitely supposed to come out during the free access days, but then Black Ops 6 came out and I completely forgot about this video, I'm not gonna lie. Make sure you guys leave your suggestions for what you want to see on the channel down in the comments below. I'm here for anything, and the more of you guys means the more fun for us. I think that's gonna be it from me. It's been your friendly neighborhood black man, signing off. Go buy Sonic X Shadow Generations, you definitely won't disappoint.